Thank you for joining us. Feel free to put in the chat where you're calling from, and also if you want to come on by video, that's great too. And then I'm gonna start now because it's like 5 past. Okay. So today we're gonna do this spring rites of passage, the setting your skin to birth your power with the Egyptian snake goddess. And learn how to feel free in your self-expression through a transformational journey, such like a pilgrimage to Egypt, and discover ancient Egypt's mythology, symbols, and magic, and connect with others that share your interest in spiritual development. So as you know, we currently just had yesterday into today the pink moon in Libra. We're still in the spring equinox season, Passover, Ramadan, Easter, Ostara, and it's all these themes of a new light after the tribulation and that dying off. So I don't know if you found this year started with so much change and so much things falling away and dying off. It's been quite radical. And it's actually a very potent time to be alive. I feel this in this human experience. It's very powerful and potent to be alive right now. And, and then the power of 40. So usually around this time, a lot of spiritual practices would start and do 40 days of some kind of a spiritual practice. And it's all these themes of fertility and new life stirring and, the symbol of life and rebirth, eggs around Easter and all these things. So there's so much to celebrate. And I'm going to talk about this ancient festival of Renenutet, the snake goddess, around this time. And it's a call for epic change and to return to balance, that balancing scales, the Libra scales, just to return to balance in our relationships and in our lives. So this rites of ancient seasons of Kemet, the last month of winter or going into spring, Peret. So some is still really feeling those cold, chilly days and honoring the crops being planted, so you can symbolically think of what seeds are you planting or that's already starting to sprout that you have planted, that you are nurturing. And then the first month of spring, summer. And then this whole season goes into Shemu, which is the harvesting season. It's earlier in ancient Kemet times, which is honoring of the ripening and signifying the coming of inundation, which is the Nile flooding. And that's traditionally, before they built the Aswan Dam, the Nile would flood and it will bring all that soil in, all that nutritious nutrients in for new life to spur. And now it's changed a lot since ancient times. But then we talk about offerings. Ancient Egyptian rituals and ceremonies is very big on offerings, and we would honor this time and signify this time with lettuce, onions, salted fish. If you're from Bermuda, you will know salted fish. It's like traditional Bermuda breakfast. and crops. So this is how you would honor. So you could create an altar like that. And Shamo means renewed life. During Coptic area became known as the Spring Festival, Sham al-Nessim, which is really smelling the breezes. So if you do elemental journeys, it's really connecting with that element of air, that change, feeling the breeze and the change coming in, ushering newness. So this is a modern version of the 4,500-year-old tradition. And then Malana, the green chickpea shoots, resurgence of life. Traditionally, eggs will also be colored, which later were adopted for the celebration of Easter. So this is just some practices. So Renenutet Thermuthis is the snake goddess of nourishment, harvest and protection, lady of fertile fields. So now we're getting to this theme of getting under your own skin. So I really want to presence this perspective of the most restrictive skin we live in is how we perceive ourselves. Because usually how we perceive ourselves is sometimes how we think others are perceiving ourselves or us. And a lot of times there's a lot of false truths around that. So these are some questions. How do you feel powerful and authentic in your own skin? So it's really looking at how we sometimes just give away our power and not standing in our authentic truth. And then looking at your skin of fear and stuckness, because a lot of times I find this season and the time we find ourselves in is really asking us to make radical changes and decisions, big decisions. And we might retract back into that skin of fear and just feeling stuck. But because it's all we know, it's all we've lived in for so long, we just stay in that. And then you can explore your skin of passion and a way of being. So sometimes we've not really been expressing ourselves in our full passion. What makes us feel alive? That second energy, you know, all this is stirring within us now to be rebirthed, to feel alive, to feel in our full expression of the divine. So to carry a new skin with regards to that and a new way of being. And also to look at how our self-expression and how we communicate our boundaries. You know, how is this being presented within our skin and what we contain our energy in? And then also your skin of service and your soul's path. Are you walking on the path of Ma'at? You know, are you walking in your soul's path, that you are in greater service and what your soul is calling you to do at this time? This is very important because you can feel very restrictive in your skin if you're not honoring your soul's path. And then your skin of limiting beliefs. And there's a myriad of that. But, you know, the thing is, we've grown and evolved, especially now there's so much ascension going on. But it's these narratives of I'm not supported, everyone abandons me, and the list goes on. But it's really sitting with that restrictive skin and feeling, is this still true for me? And questioning it. So that's the invitation. And now, so shedding is a gradual process. You know, we very much in shamanic practices have this principle of shape-shifting, the shape-shifting cycle, the shamanic death of something dying off and then a new rebirth occurs. And a lot of times we're forced for that happening, like something dramatic will happen, somebody will die really close to us, or an illness or accident or anything of that sort. And it's forcing you to bring forth radical change. So this is an ancient symbol of change and transformation and the enigmatic power of life to thwart death. So to grow, it must shed its skin. This is painful, dangerous, and necessary. So during this process, even for the snake, it feels uncomfortable in its own skin. It literally outgrowing its outside. And this is how it can feel for us. We can feel uncomfortable in our current situation in our life, in the mundane, or the way we see or perceive the mundane, because there's different ways of perceiving that. And we're the only ones that can shed that skin. So it will scratches. This is what the snake will do. Rubs, change color if needed to remove its outer restrictive layer, and will die or go blind from its inability to grow. So this is the danger for us too. If we don't shed the skin and shed what needs to be shed and release what needs to be released, it will affect us. You know, a teacher of mine used to call it issues in your tissues. It's going to affect you physically. I'm a holistic doctor, and the reason why I've turned to all this energetic and spiritual work is really that the psychosomatic expression on a physical level, you know, there's so much we can do with life changes and dietary and supplements, but we really need to do the deeper work. And shedding your skin, restrictive skin, is one of those deeper transformational work. So yes, so what will this help us do? It will serve as an activation, a moving and a stirring. And this is what's happening, what's representative now. We can use this energy of spring, because as spring returns, we are activated by Sekhem, the Sekhem energy, and the return of Ra. So Ra is the sun god. So this Sekhem energy, Egypt is full of that type of activations. When you go there at all these ancient sites, you can feel the Sekhem energy, that Kundalini energy being awakened and rising up, that life force energy. That's naturally also revived after the winter. And it's that snake-like energy for healing, as per the caduceus as well. And all these themes, like at Komombo, that's the healing temple, you would also see the caduceus there. And this is pretty much a felt sense as you journey through the temples on a pilgrimage like Birth Your Power pilgrimage. So my next pilgrimage, the whole theme is on this Birth Your Power, and how to activate and connect with this Kundalini energy, stepping into your truth, owning your authentic self, and not giving your power away, and shedding that old restrictive skin of how we were conditioned to give our power away. Yes, so now let's talk again about Renenutet, so the lady of justification in the underworld, as per the ancient funerary text, the Litany of Re. So she's also associated with Mahat. And if you don't know who Mahat is, she's both a goddess and a principle. She's the principle of balance and justice. So she's really that Libra energy, balance, justice, order, natural order. And she's depicted here with a feather of truth, which is the ostrich feather that your heart is being weighed against. On Judgment Day. So in the funerary text, she would appear in a form of a mummy with a head of a cobra. So again, this represents liberation in owning your own power and standing in your truth, owning your truth. So her revered name is Ren, to bring up nurture. That's what it means, Renet. Fortune and riches. She would name all children. She is the mother of Nefri, a personification of corn. So in Latin, corn is Zia, and that also means life-giving, and is associated with Osiris. She's also the wife to Geb. So in Egyptian mythology, the earth god is seen as Geb, masculine, just like the sky god is Nut, which is feminine, so it's opposite towards other type of ancient traditions. Other traditions also proclaimed that she was married to Sobak. So Sobak is the crocodile god, or Shai, the god of destiny and fortune. So in a lot of Kemetic practices, you would be actually doing ceremony ritual with Sobak to help. He's also depicted as a green god, and green, money, fortune, spring. There's a lot of green elements as well. So there's all that bringing in richness and fortune. So again, this is a good time if you want to call in that energy of blessings to connect with that. And then the offering afterlife protection. So this is another quality of Renenutet. She's known as the Lady of Robes, the guardian of the pharaoh's clothing, fiercely powerful to frighten enemies. So here you can explore our energetic garments of protection. So again, these are practices that you could do to protect your energetic field. And a great visualization and embodiment practice would be to step this garment of stepping into your power, like putting on this garment of power. and truth, and owning your truth and your boundary garment. So it's about discerning and getting clear on that skin, the boundary skin that you are setting for others, so they can feel that, and how you're communicating that as well. And then she's also known as the goddess of plentiful. So snakes, again, were abundant by the crops to protect and ward off threatening rodents. So allow the Lady of Granaries to bestow good fortune for your harvesting season. Bless yourself by blessing others and their crops too. So this is a great practice to do, to bless others. And as you're blessing others, you're blessing yourself too. And as you visualize this blessing, have a manifesting mindset. Let me just see. I think there's some more people just coming. I just wanted to admit them. Yes. So I'll just make sure everyone is on. Okay, great. Where was I? Okay, yes. So the manifesting mindset and the magician archetype. So this is, I do a lot of archetypal exploration, especially with the Egyptian mythology, and how we can connect with these elements and manifest these attributes in our life in a more balanced way, because every archetype obviously has a, you know, can get out of balance as well. So it's how to balance that, to bring that, you know, Libra quality, balanced quality in our lives. So she's also known as the goddess of nurturance and motherhood. So here she's seen depicted nursing the Egyptian people and pharaohs. So she's here merged with Isis as Isirmithis and Thermounthis, linked with Meshkanet, the goddess of labor. So the special thing of my next pilgrimage, why I chose these specific dates, was that only twice a year, the sun alignment lights up the birth house, which is known as the Mamisi, at Dendara's temple. Okay, Colleen just joined us. I'm just going to welcome her. Hello, Colleen. We are in the middle of the presentation, so I'm just going to let you carry on watching the slides, and again, everyone will be receiving a recording afterwards as well, so you can rewatch it from the beginning. So yeah, so there's this special alignment that's happening on the 8th of November every year in the morning, where the birth house, the Mamisia Dendara's temple, which is Hathor's temple, goddess of music and love and ecstasy, gets lit up. So this Renenutet, the goddess of nurturance and motherhood, she provides your secret name. So again, a lot of shamanic practices, we do naming ceremonies, and she's one that one can journey with for that. And this name also protects babies from curses and gives them the power to control their fate. Because as you know, names carry frequencies. It can be allotted to numerology, and, you know, all this carries frequencies, you know. So that's why a lot of people undergo elective name changing later in their lives, or adopt a spiritual name. So learn how to cultivate this power on my next pilgrimage. So Renenutet is in all things. So we have this principle in African spirituality, Ubuntu. Later, when I stop sharing, you'll see the picture in my background is that depiction that a friend of mine painted, which is Ubuntu is I am because we are. And this picture is from the scribes from the Faman Stela in Sahel Island, Aswan, which is near Isis's temple, Philae. And so Renenutet is also linked to the gods of the Nile and inundation, which is the flooding, so that the drought may never come again, as it did for 7 terrible years during the 3rd dynasty of King Joshua. So this stela depicts that, and pilgrims and pharaohs would go here to speak their prayers into this stela, prayers of protection and abundance and blessings. So now we're just going to take a moment. So I want you to close your eyes, take a sip of your water. I'm going to take a sip of my water, and we're going to just do a mini journey before I open up and tell you more about the tour and open up for questions, just so that we can anchor in all these themes that we just spoke about. So again, I'm going to be using some bowls, so sometimes the sound comes across differently for different people, so just bear with me. So I just want you to close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, and you can feel the sister next to you, on one side of you and the other side of you. You can connect with your heart space and that opening. Feel into that ripening quality, that blossoming quality, as to all the elements that we are witnessing around us at this moment in time, in the springtime. New colors, that new robust colors that's blossoming. And you feel a sense of newness. And as you see these blossoms opening up, they also pushing beyond boundaries. They're also breaking through their skins. And you can imagine yourself being in that restrictive skin that you now want to shed and grow out of and release. You may feel that scratching and itching and that uncomfortableness. And change and growth can be so uncomfortable at times. It can be hard. And it's all about just being with it. Being real present with it. And moving through it. And at times pushing through it. Like we would as we would physically give birth. There's a right time to push. And there's a right time just to move with it and be with it and be with whatever needs to be released. There's so much falling away happening right now. And we have this tendency to hold on to this skin that we know that we've grown accustomed to, that which contained us. But we are ready to shed, we're ready to grow. And now it's about surrendering to the unknown, to the mystery of the unknown. And just to be with any fears that comes up. When we get into the monkey brain, into the analyzers, and we're like, oh, what if, and if I do this, this will happen. If I do that, that will happen. So let's just let that go. You can ground out those analyzers by visualizing, just going to the occipital region, base of your skull, and envisioning a grounding cord into the earth, into Father Gap. And just releasing all those fears. all those what ifs and can't do this, and just release it. And you can just attune to that nature's energy of renewal and letting it be. What needs to grow, let it grow. What needs to be transformed, let it transform. And don't resist the change and the shedding. This is a rites of passage, the shedding of the skin. So wear it with honor, wear the new colors with honor. Now you can wear, with the Lady of the Robes, you can envisioning yourself stepping into this new power, into your new skin, owning your new truth, the new narrative you want to write. And bringing that to life. You can feel the blessings of the Nile, of the inundation, bringing in, ushering in all that nourishment. Washing away what needs to be washed away. And bringing in the new. And it's soothing and nourishing, just like Renenutet. And you're feeding those seeds for new growth. So just take a few more deep breaths and anchor in all these frequencies of change, of shedding, of newness, new life, that second energy. You can breathe that in from your root chakra and just allow it to circle all the way up through all your chakras so that you feel like the corn. And you can just come right back again. Thank you all. Well, many spring blessings, and I hope you shed your skin, shed your limiting belief skin, let's shed it and grow. Thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you so much, everyone.